Okay, now this topic, experienced riders know that my saying is when we get to a rest stop, it's just that. It's a rest stop and not a vacation spa. Don't spend too much time at the rest stop, especially on the Century Day, because there are 5 rest stops and one is for lunch. We estimate 10 minutes per rider at a rest stop and 20 minutes at the lunch stop. That turns out to be an hour. So a whole hour of your day is spent resting. and you need to, okay? Because the rest stops are approximately 15 to 20 miles apart and are designed to allow you to get to them within a reasonable period of time. So, but the problem is there's 2 problems with staying there too long. One is you can run out of time because we're riding near the end of the year. It's the end of September or October, and the days are short, and we can run out of light. So if you're not really burning up the roads, you need as much time as you do to get your century in. And as a matter of fact, that's why we have a cutoff time near the end, because it can become absolutely unsafe, too dark for you to ride and to do that safely. So, and then the second side is too long a rest period. You are out there exercising, you're moving your muscles, you're doing a lot of work. If your body, and I can't find any real medical evidence, but I know an old man, it even gets worse as you get older. Your body tends to rest and go into a really rest state, almost comatose, and then it gets hard to get started again. So you don't want to allow yourself to get into a complete rest state so that you can continue to move on and then finish your ride. And I hope that you have a successful one, and those of you who are doing a century, whether it's metric or imperial, that you complete your mission. Okay, this brief part of the discussion is relative to nutrition, and of course I can't do it and cover it all thoroughly. As far as I know, nobody at the Tour de Pink has ever really suffered the bonk. The bonk occurs when your muscles and liver deplete their supply of available glycogen and can't really fuel your muscles the way it has to. So we have designed that there are rest stops every 15 or 20 miles. It could take you anywhere between an hour or more, or an hour and a half to get between rest stops. At that point, you should replenish yourself. Eat a little bit. I estimate that most people, depending upon weight and speed and all terrain and all those things, between rest stops are going to use between 200 and 250 calories. That's besides your basal metabolism. So a banana, I think, is about 80. I think I've got to do my notes. Pardon me for fumbling. A banana is about 80. 100. No, it's 100 calories, and a full peanut butter and jelly sandwich is 189. So a judicious sampling of the things at the rest stops will help you refuel your body, and those materials, those foods, will readily turn to glycogen and keep you from getting the bonk. And the other thing you got to do is, depending upon the temperature, and even if it's not hot, you should drink something. You should probably be drinking about 4 to 8 ounces of water between rest stops or at rest stops, so you don't get dehydrated. And if it's hot, you obviously have to drink more. And if you don't feel like you're thirsty, drink something anyway, because your body is perspiring and losing fluids as it goes. Whether you feel it or know it, see it, or whatever, make sure that you drink between them and that you nibble a little bit of something. And then when you get to the lunch stop, eat the lunch. You're going to need it, because the lunch stop is about halfway, and your needs become greater as a ride goes on. So, along with the drinking, everybody loves this stuff, don't they? Pickle juice. Well, it's brine. It's salt. It's part of the makeup of your sweat that you lose during exercise. So between the pickle juice and or some Gatorade, drink a little bit of that as well as water. Don't overdo either one of them. You can make your body can become it wants to keep a balance, and if you drink too much stuff like pickle juice or any other brine type solution, it will go the other way and not help you that much. So take your electrolyte replacement as you need, but don't overdo it, and make sure that you stay hydrated. Well, I'm laughing because I'm going to end up this segment with the topic of nutrition and rest stops and fluids and all of that stuff by saying there is a danger of eating too much. So don't overdo it. Go back to the fact that you're going to use between 200 to 300 calories between rest stops. Don't eat more than that amount at the rest stops. And if you want to do a little bit more, that's okay. But don't overindulge at a rest stop, because that won't get moved through your body. It'll sit in your stomach. It'll cause you cramps and some other issues that you don't want to handle on the road. So there is a danger in overeating as well as undereating. You have to know what your balance is. So just nibble something, and at best you could always put one of the little packages of like these things. You put one in your pocket, and if you're between rest stops and you say, gee, my stomach's grumbling, you got the rumbly tumblies, you can eat that. Okay, this little tidbit is important to you. It's more appropriate, I think, for the Long Island ride, although California could have this same issue. When we checked out the ride in Long Island, I forget where it was, I noticed that because it is an island and water can, I guess, when it rains, it doesn't drain that quickly. There was a lot of sand and sandy-like substance on the side of the road, and it protruded a little bit into our cycling lane at points. And what I did notice about it is that you could get buried in it, shall I say. Your wheel, it could take control of your wheel. It's like a little bit, and we know that sand on pavement can be a very slippery situation. So when you see sand, try to avoid it. Don't go right through it. Don't go right through the middle of it. You might have to go around a little bit, and do that judiciously. Make sure there's no traffic coming on your shoulder. During our ride, we prepared a small video, which I will play right after this segment, so that you can see what the hazard can be as you see the sand coming. And one of our expert riders, who's a SAG operator, went in and exaggerated a little bit, but it maybe not be an exaggeration if it takes you by surprise. So please avoid the sand wash onto the road whenever you can, and have a good, safe ride. Yeah. I'm just trying to get some of this sand. I want to do a little safety video on watching. Why don't I ride with the sand? Okay, right here, right here, right here. Do it. Oh, good. Perfect. Perfect.